Hi, my name's Mandy, and if everything has successfully gone through, my new channel name is now What Mandy Made Next. So for those of you who have previously subscribed to my channel, you will have known that I've been contemplating for a long time now changing my name from Pickety Stitch to What Mandy Made Next. There's a couple of reasons for that. One was a lot of people got confused with the Pickety Stitch Life is So Creative, and the main reason was when you googled in or inputted Pickety Stitch into YouTube, then videos of the band Pickety Witch would appear, and that may be because I actually named originally my channel Pickety Stitch based on that band's name, Pickety Witch. So yeah, lesson learned. So hopefully my new channel name is a little bit more explanatory. So I last recorded, I think it was the 4th of January. So as you know, I usually have 10 projects on the go. And I donate different days of the week to certain projects because it gives me some variety and content to show you, and also it uses different muscles so we don't get too stiff. So on Monday, I usually call that my Miniature Monday, where I'll make a mini project, and for some time now I've been wanting to make these boards. So Lori Holt has got a tutorial, and I'll put a link in down below, and she shows you how to make these. They're like design boards, so you can use these for your quilt blocks, but I also use them for my cross stitch. But yeah, it's some boards I bought. I mean, I just bought this. It's like a foam board, and because I live in the UK, I bought this from Hobbycraft. So you get quite a big sheet of it. It's quite inexpensive, and then you cover it with some batting, and I use my hot glue gun, and yeah, I just followed the tutorial by Lori Holt. So I've done, I don't know how big this one is actually. You just measure. So I've done this one, which measures, it's 12.5 by 12.5 this one is. So yeah, I mean, a little bit of it did come, yeah, it seems to be okay. That seems to have come undone a little bit, so I just need to pop a little bit more glue on there. And then I've done what Kimberly off the Fat Quarter shop, she's uses these little ones a lot, and she calls them itty bitty boards. So I made a little one, and yeah, so if I'm embroidering or cross stitching, I'll just show you quickly. You can just pop your threads, because I bobbinate, I do, so instead of you know, having to keep undoing your threads, you can just pop them on your board, you see, and they stick. So yeah, I've been enjoying using my itty bitty board. So that was a little project I did on Monday. So I'm going to start with the cross stitch. I usually work on cross stitch on a Tuesday and a Thursday. I call them my Thimble Tuesdays or Thimble Thursdays. So I've got this new start. It's from the Historical Sampler Company, and it's called A Year in the Life Of. So it comes from a kit with it already kitted for you. So you get your aida, and you get your threads and even a needle. And I purchased this from Love Crafts. So this is a 14 count aida, and it's in the oatmeal colour range. And I've started to stitch the January square. So hopefully by the end of January this will be completed. and I can start the February one. Right, and then again, this is another kit I purchased from Love Crafts. Again, it's the Historical Sampler Company, and this is Home is Where the Heart Is. So my youngest daughter moved house a few months ago now, and I thought it'd be lovely to stitch her this for her new home. So yeah, I have managed to get quite a bit done, and I don't think this will take me very long now, maybe another couple of months. So you do have to sort of concentrate, but what I like about this is you can watch a bit of television as well. Right, I've got a new start. So you may remember I'd showed you some of the colours I'd purchased for my next cross-stitch project, and it's Coffee with Mickey. And this is a stitch along initiated by Denise from Black Ribbon Studio and two other ladies who are on YouTube, and I'll put their links in down below. So this is my new start, and this is on a 16 count aida. And I just cannot stop stitching on this. Every morning I've stitched on this. I just can't help myself. So in the morning when I have a cup of coffee, I do a little bit of stitching, and it ends up where I've been working on this 3 or 4 hours at a time. I just can't stop. So there are 35 different colour threads in this project. It will be a full coverage, and I think there's 6 pages, and I've completed, when I've got to there, that was 1 page completed. So yeah, I'm making quite a bit of progress. So yeah, I love this. I'm so pleased with it. I just enjoy all the colours and the aesthetic of it, because it's quite vintagey. Right, okay, so let's just pop that there. So I have been working on Wednesday on Wednesdays I usually call them my wool Wednesdays, and this is where I will work on a project that involves wool. So as you know, I have been just let me check I'm not going to unravel anything, because last time I did. Left a big loop. So this is my Floralia blanket. Oh, I show this every time. So this is a free pattern on the Pippin Poppycock website, and I've now started the actual mesh. So there was a couple of borders I had to do, and then I've started this mesh. I'm still a little undecided if I'm going to do all the mesh border. I might make it a little bit smaller, so might not crochet the rows required. I don't know yet, but it is, you know, enjoyable to sit there on an evening crocheting this. So yeah, see how we go with that. And also I've made some progress with my eglantine jumper for my youngest granddaughter. So this wool here is a double knit by the Hayfield Bonus, and it's in the Primrose colourway, and I've got quite a bit of this done. It's patterned by OGE Designs, and as you can see it has considerably grown. So I've popped a stitch marker in from when I last spoke to you on January the 4th, and since then I have managed to work to there. So this little stitch mark is actually, I'll bring it up closer, it's a Quilt art and it's by Chapel View Crafts, and if you feel it, feels rough there for the cake. Those are clever how she does them, and it's even feathered on top, you know, like the design they make for the Quilt art. And I've got some more stitch markers here. This shows me that this is the beginning of the round, and that's a little jammy dodger, again by Chapel View Crafts. So when I started this I was a little bit concerned it might not go over her head, because you had to start it with a stretchy bind off, and I couldn't get my head round how to do the stretchy, not bind off, cast on. So I just cast on quite loosely, but the finished measurements are quite a big chest size really, so I think it's going to be quite big on her really. But she does like things to be, you know, like jumpers and cardigans. She does like them a bit slouchy, so thank goodness for that, eh? But yeah, I've only got a little bit more to do, and then I'll start the ribbing, and then I will then pick up these stitches for the arms. So yeah, progressing quite quickly with that. I do love all these different crafts, it's great fun, you know. Really cold here. I'm glad I had that Floralia blanket on me then. Right, so I showed you this last time, and this is a Beatrix potter quilt I am making for my two younger granddaughters, and that is Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. Is it Winkle? Wiggle? Tiggy Winkle. And you can't really make her out unless you stare at her for ages, but this is her apron, and these are her eyes and a little note. And it's just on some linen I purchased from a charity shop. It was, I was going to embroider different linen squares with characters from Beatrix Potter's tales and incorporate some fabric squares as well. But I thought, and I don't know what you think about this, but I've started making some little hexagons, and this is in some scraps I had from some Tilda fabric. You may recall I made a Christmas stocking with some hexagons. It was a Molly and Mama pattern. But yeah, these are the different hexagons I've made. And I'm using 1.5 inch hexagon squares. And I thought what I would do is perhaps sew these together, and when I've cut this down a bit, put these hexagons around the edge, so that will start making the quilt up. I don't know what you think. I think these will just look a little bit more daintier than just putting squares. I thought it would just make it a little bit more interesting. So let me know what you think. But I aim to do a little bit more work on this on Saturday. So yeah, that's my Beatrix Potter quilt. So I think that's everything I need to show you. So I just thought I'd tell you about some of my plans. So on Friday, this Friday, I'm hoping to get and sew up all these scraps of jersey I've got. I mean, it's getting quite overwhelming, really. They're piling up, and I thought I would sew some jumpers up for my grandchildren. I thought on Saturday I'll start my Tilda quilt. So you may remember on my plans and goals video that I was talking about starting to sew my Christmas presents. Start to make my little handmade gifts for this Christmas 2022 in advance, so that I'm not pushed at the very end, because every year I don't get enough time. No matter, even if I start in summer, I don't have enough time. So I wanted to make my middle daughter a little Tilda quilt. Well, a quilt made out of Tilda fabrics. And I also haven't got any scraps left now for my hexagons. So I thought, I don't want to be cutting into big pieces of my Tilda fabric, because it's so, I mean, it's precious, isn't it? You know, and you don't want to be cutting little pieces out for hexagons. So I would prefer to make the quilt first, and then what's left over, use those scraps for the hexagons. So that's what I'm going to do. So I might do a little bit of a sew along for that. I don't know what you think, but yeah, these are all my Tilda fabrics ready to be cut up and made into that quilt. So that's this Saturday. Sunday, I usually call that Selection Sunday, so that's when I choose a project to work on. So I don't know yet what I'm going to choose. Monday is my miniature day, and I decided I would complete a project from my Joe Morton book of favourites. It's the third edition, not a third edition, it's the third book in the series. And yeah, before Christmas I'd started to make this little mini quilt, so I thought it would be a good idea perhaps to get that completed. And yeah, Tuesday I will be working on my Home is Where the Heart Is, because, you know, I want to get this progressed as much as possible now. And then Wednesday, which will be the Wool Wednesday, I'm going to work on the little eglantine jumper. And then on Thursday, I'll be back on my Mickey's cross-stitch. Next week, I'll have some good works in progress to show you. So yeah, that will be good. Acquisitions, as you know, I am trying to be very good. And so I can't buy anything such as wool until I have knit at least 300 grams up. So I've got a new thing now where I can't buy any wool until I've knit at least 300 grams. So for every 300 grams I can buy 100 grams. And then for my fabric, for every 3 yards, and then I'm allowed to purchase a yard. So that way I'm using my stash up. But I had to buy these because I needed them from the House of Smocking, and I just purchased some piping. So this is the red one and the white one. You need this for sewing, and I bought this for go round a collar for my granddaughter's dress, which is in the pipeline, and some needle threaders. So that's all I've bought, so that's not too bad. Right, I think that's it. Yeah, so I think that's it. So until next Friday, happy crafting. Bye.